Now at 5, a man dies in an officer-involved shooting in northeast Oklahoma. Plus, we look at the changing cost of construction in the 4 states and
climate change is messing with Mother Nature. I'm Michael George with how rising temperatures may be threatening our health.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation says a suspect waved a bow and arrow at law enforcement in a, quote, threatening manner in a Craig County officer-involved shooting. This is KOAM News at 5. The OSBI says dispatchers were called about a chunk of concrete on the railroad tracks on 4400 Road about 7 a.m. Veneta police officers and Craig County deputies responded and found tracks in the grass from the railroad to a tractor on nearby property. Agents say the officers found Guy Walker going in and out of a house on the same property. They say when the investigators approached, he pulled out the bow and arrow. A deputy and an officer both fired at Walker. Walker died at the scene. No officers were injured. State investigators in Kansas have identified a woman killed in an exchange of gunfire with police. The Kansas Bureau of Investigation says 32-year-old Andrea Barrow of Arkansas City was killed Friday in Cowley County after she pulled out a handgun as deputies tried to remove her from a vehicle. Investigators said 2 of the deputies are recovering at home. At last report, a 3rd remained hospitalized in good condition. Authorities say the deputies were responding to a call about a suspicious vehicle when the gunfire was exchanged. Inflation has sent up prices on a number of items, and construction supplies are no exception. The National Home Builders Association says building material costs have risen just over 20% year over year and are up 31% since January of 2020. Officials at Joplin schools say they closely monitor those costs for their building projects, like the new Dover Hill Elementary.
We want to seek to keep the district informed, keep the patrons informed of what's going on. We've had to take some small change orders and things to the school board that we've made available to the public, but it's important that we take the best care of the money available for this project as we can.
Tonight at 6, we're going to hear more on how the inflation impacts the district. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt hopes to lure a company that could bring tens of thousands of jobs to the state. At a news conference today, the governor said he's asking lawmakers to expand the state's tax incentive program to entice companies that bring high-quality jobs to the state. Stitt did not identify the specific company he's trying to lure, but indicates it's in car manufacturing industry and that it would provide a lot of jobs.
We can land some of these major companies and these major manufacturing facilities. It will have a generational impact on the state of Oklahoma. Some of the studies and the research that we've looked at can show a company of this size can create up to 70,000 direct and indirect jobs.
In fact, that says the state's looking to land one of the biggest factories in the nation. Doug Heddy joins us now. A lot of blue skies out there, Doug.
Yeah, it actually turned out to be a pretty good Monday for us today, but our temperatures are going to drop off once again for us tonight. So we have frost and freeze advisories in effect with the counties that are highlighted. If you are not highlighted, your temperatures will stay just above that frost mark. But yeah, hopefully this will be our last one, but we're going to get a frost and freeze across the region. Pretty much clear skies most of the day. Not a whole bunch going on here across Central Plains. We do have a few waves out to the west, which will start to affect us over the next few days. Temperatures pretty good, upper 50s to lower 60s right now. We have those northerly winds, which are kicking in kind of 5 to 10 to 15 miles per hour. Through the evening hours, we slide back through the 40s and then eventually into the 30s later on tonight. Also thunderstorms in the forecast. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
See you then. A federal judge in Florida has voided the national mask mandate covering airplanes and other public transportation as exceeding the authority of U.S. health officials. The decision today also said the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention improperly failed to justify its decision and did not follow proper rulemaking. The CDC recently extended the mask mandate until May 3rd to allow more time to study the BA.2 Omicron subvariant. The Justice Department today declined to say whether it will appeal the ruling. Russian forces today launched missile attacks on the western city of Lviv. The city's become a safe haven for those fleeing the war in other parts of Ukraine. But to the Kremlin's increasing anger, it's also become a major conduit for NATO-supplied weapons and for foreign fighters joining the Ukrainian cause. The attacks there and elsewhere came as Moscow has redirected most of its ground forces to southeastern Ukraine. Russian troops appeared on the verge of capturing Mariupol after Ukrainians ignored an ultimatum to surrender yesterday. A little bit later, lawns gone wild.
I'm Laura Podesta with a unique approach to yard work that's good for the environment and will get you out of mowing the lawn.
But first, the potential impact of climate change on our health. Topping today's Health Watch, getting kids to eat healthy has never been easy, and a new national poll shows 50% of parents regularly give their children dietary supplements, mostly multivitamins. Doctors caution it's important for parents to discuss with health providers which supplements they're using to make sure their children are getting all the nutrition they need. A joint study at Georgetown University and the University of California, Riverside once again confirms that smoking shortens lives. Researchers found the mortality rate among current smokers was 3 times higher than for people who never smoked. They also found wealth had an impact on lifespan. Surviving from age 65 to 85 was 19 percentage points higher for Americans with at least $300,000 in assets. New research finds many doctors incorrectly believe all tobacco products are equally harmful. Researchers say that's preventing many physicians from recommending e-cigarettes to help people quit smoking. The FDA has not approved e-cigarettes as a cessation device, but a study at Rutgers University found combustible tobacco is more dangerous than e-cigarettes. Earth Day is on Friday, an opportunity for a long, hard look at the dangers of climate change and the ways rising temperatures could be threatening our health. Michael George has that story.
When wildfires fill the California sky with smoke, Brandon De La Paz feels the pain.
I do remember going out and just kind of breathing in the air, and it just hurt a little bit more than usual.
De La Paz has asthma and could be facing many more days of discomfort. A Princeton study finds in parts of Northern California, the warming climate could cause particle pollution from wildfires to increase more than 50% by the middle of the century. Those tiny particles have been linked to cardiovascular disease and bronchitis, and for asthma patients, the effects can be life-threatening.
It feels like you're breathing out of a straw. And so, as you can imagine, that can be quite uncomfortable, quite scary. People don't realize that we see deaths every day from asthma.
Thousands of miles from wildfire country, climate change is messing with Mother Nature in other ways that affect our health. As temperatures rise, so do pollen counts.
That's because a warmer Earth means longer growing seasons, giving plants more time to shed the pollen that causes allergies. At the current rate of global warming, by the end of the century, spring pollen season is projected to start about 40 days earlier and last up to 19 days longer than it does now. Dr. Purvi Parikh recommends allergy shots for desensitizing her patients.
And what that does is that it eventually makes them stop reacting. So many of those individuals actually have had a very easy pollen season compared to those who aren't on it because their immune systems are not as reactive anymore.
The CDC says as many as 60 million Americans suffer from seasonal allergies each year, a headache that will likely get worse. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Scientists also warn that climate change will trigger more heavy rainfall and flooding, which, along with hot weather, may increase waterborne diseases. New studies show long nails could leave you vulnerable to fungus and bacteria that get trapped underneath. One study even found MRSA under the nails. It's an antibiotic-resistant bacteria that can cause serious infections in hospital. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, a watchdog group accuses some retailers of making unnecessary price hikes.
Plus a cold night for us tonight, and also some thunderstorms in the forecast. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it turned out to be a nice, kind of chilly Monday for us today, but overall a pretty good day after kind of chilly and some showers over the weekend. But it does look like our temperatures are really going to warm up this week. Plenty of rain chances. Our temps warm up greatly by the second half of the week. We do have some severe threats we need to keep our eyes on. Of course, you can always get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. All right, let's go outside. Here's Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Looks good. We have clear skies out there right now, and our temperatures for most of us today, 60 to lower 60s. We're setting upper 50s to lower 60s for us right now. We have these northerly winds kicking in, but it looks good. 7th and range line 58. North winds at about 10. Humidity is fairly low. It's at about 28%. Through the evening hours, we slide back through the 50s, the 40s, but check this out, down into the 30s a little bit later on tonight. So especially our northern counties, we're going to get a pretty good frost and freeze across the region. Frost advisories here in the purplish and the bluish. These are freeze warnings for us tonight. But clear skies, just a few random little clouds out there. Most of the central plains look pretty good. If we head out toward the west, here's our next storm system. This is going to pass by mainly to our north on Wednesday, but it's going to shoot a little bit of energy at us prior to it tomorrow into tomorrow night, giving us at least some rain chances across the region. We just have the clear skies, cold temps tonight, mid-30s for most of us. We're going to get some clouds increasing during the morning. You can see late morning, some light little showers popping up. These are going to be hit and miss light little showers. I'd say a good chunk of you end up staying dry tomorrow. 35 to start, 56 by noon, high temp 62. Southerly winds at about 5 to 10. Tomorrow night, we'll start to get a few scattered thunderstorms trying to get going. A few of these could be a little bit stronger late tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. Severe threat is low, but something we want to keep our eyes on. And then as we go into late Wednesday, here comes a cold front. And if these guys can get going, so this is Wednesday 6 p.m., some of those may be a little bit stronger as they work through Wednesday evening. So we do have to watch for some thunderstorms as we go through the next couple days. Now by Wednesday, our warm front lifts back toward the north, scattered showers and thunderstorms with it. You can see here's Thursday night, storms lifting north. We're warm, we're windy, most likely 80s on Friday, and then on Saturday, here comes our next storm system Saturday afternoon. We may get a few supercells that try to blow up, and then we're going to get a big line of strong to severe thunderstorms working in by the time we head into Saturday night. So that is definitely something we want to watch. All right, 62 for us tomorrow, 69 on Wednesday, 75 on Thursday. Those scattered thunderstorms, especially Wednesday into Thursday. Friday looks pretty good. Late day thunderstorms Saturday. So our highest severe threat this week is going to be Saturday and Saturday night.
I know you'll keep an eye on it.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Doug. Hey, when severe weather does strike, you're going to want to stay informed. You can do that by scanning this QR code. It'll take you to the KOAM News Now YouTube page, where our weather team is going to live stream during severe weather events to give you updated information. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. Coming up, the movement to let some lawns go wild. First, though, we honor a local veteran of the U.S. Coast Guard. George Chapman served from 1981 to 1988. He participated in search and rescue operations in New Orleans following Hurricane Juan. His hometown, Commerce, Oklahoma, and we are proud to salute George Chapman, a four-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, a corporate watchdog group accuses the nation's retailers of unnecessarily raising prices in 2020 and 2021. According to a new report from Accountable US, the top 10 retail companies, including Amazon, Target, Walmart, CVS, and Lowe's, collectively increased their profits by more than $24 million over the past couple of years. Some consumer advocates allege retailers are using inflation to rake in more profit for the shareholders. The earnings parade continues this week as Wall Street returns from a long weekend. Bank of America reports profits exceeding $7 billion in the first 3 months of 2022. That was better than expected growth and loan demand. A triple holiday weekend meant an influx of travelers taking to the skies. More than 2.3 million people passed through TSA checkpoints last Thursday. That's the second highest this year, and nearly the same amount checked in for flights on Friday. 2 women in Connecticut have started an environmental movement that might get you out of mowing your lawn. Laura Podesta shows us how their ideas are quite literally growing around the country.
First of all, no pesticides.
Louise Washer and Donna Merrill admit this yard in Norwalk, Connecticut is a mess. But all the leaves, brush, and weeds serve a purpose.
It's got all the bee balm and the milkweed that the butterflies and the bees need.
Those native plants give insects and birds a place to gather and transfer pollen to help the ecosystem thrive, even in towns and cities. In 2017, Washer and Merrill created a nonprofit called the Pollinator Pathway, encouraging others to let their lawns go wild, stop mowing so often, and avoid using pesticides.
People read about the insect apocalypse and the bee declines and the monarch butterfly. And this is something positive. This is something you can do.
After signing up online, you can purchase a butterfly marker to let your neighbors know why your yard might not look picture perfect. The movement now includes members in over 300 towns across the country.
It's seeding all over the United States. It's moving into the Midwest, into the Northwest, into the Southeast.
Why are pollinators so important?
Because 80% of the flowers and plants on planet Earth require an animal vector for reproduction.
University of Montana pollinator ecologist Scott Debnam hopes the pathway will one day expand to unused farmland and the sides of roads and highways.
That's miles and miles and miles of available forage.
Back in Connecticut,
This is a wild strawberry.
these co-founders are just getting started.
Where do you see this in 10 years?
I think we're really changing something. I don't think this is stoppable at this point.
They say doing less is really more when it comes to helping our planet. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
Now, the co-founders do realize that some towns have ordinances prohibiting unkempt lawns. They say if that's the case in your community, mowing around the perimeter of your yard will help it look neat while letting some of the grass get longer. One eatery in England hopes to help its customers stay locked into their dinner and conversation. The Spice Fusion restaurant is giving customers 20% off their bill if they lock their cell phones in tabletop phone jails. The promotion is called Dinner is Better When We Eat Together. Final check of the forecast up next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, on the 50th anniversary of women competing in the Boston Marathon, a look at the trailblazers running the race today. Then on KOAM News at 6, Chris Warner has more on area construction costs and how they impact the Joplin School District. Plus, authorities have identified a suspect after an overnight shooting in Baxter Springs. And an investigation is underway after a late-night house fire in Webb City. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Hey, forget a vending machine for sodas and snacks. This is a vending machine for books, and kids at a Wisconsin elementary school are loving it. 2 teachers are at a grade school in Eau Claire. They launched that project. Every book costs 1 token, and students can earn a token when it's their birthday or just for being good. Teachers say there are some low-income families with kids in the school, so this is a great way to get them reading. Officials plan to apply for various grants to pay for more books down the road. It's a nice idea.
Yeah, really good idea.
Another chance that we're going to get close at least to a frost tonight. People have to keep those plants indoors a little bit longer, I guess.
Our temps are going to drop back into the mid-30s later on tonight. So another cold one, kind of frosty and all. And it looks like 62 tomorrow. A few showers, thunderstorms tomorrow night into Wednesday.
And I would like to think that our frost chances are over, but maybe not.
Fingers crossed.
See you at 6. Let's make it a great evening.